Toronto was suddenly at the center of a remarkable BTS story as an unexpected image began capturing attention. The city's mayor appearing in a striking purple suit, holding an army bomb, and seemingly joining fans in a powerful, military-style fanchant to welcome BTS-4 ARMY around the world. The scene immediately felt almost unbelievable. A mayor is usually associated with official ceremonies, city announcements, formal speeches, and diplomatic appearances. But this time, the atmosphere appeared completely different. Instead of standing at a podium with a traditional city emblem behind him, the mayor was presented as someone embracing the energy of BTS and their enormous fan community. The combination alone was enough to make people stop and look. Purple, an army bomb, and a BTS-style fanchant. Together, those elements created an image that felt tailor-made for a viral moment. Before going any further, however, it is important to distinguish between an entertainment-style retelling and independently verified reporting. The scenario described in this story should be treated as a narrative based on the premise provided, rather than confirmation that Toronto's mayor actually performed such an event. No official evidence has been established here to verify every detail of the alleged appearance, but imagine the scene. Toronto is preparing to welcome BTS. The streets are filled with excitement. Fans are gathering, holding purple lights and banners. The anticipation grows with every passing minute. And then, unexpectedly, the mayor appears, not wearing an ordinary black or navy suit. Instead, he is dressed in purple, a color instantly associated with BTS and ARMY culture. In his hand is an army bomb. For fans, that single detail would already be enough to create chaos. The army bomb is more than just a concert light stick. For millions of fans, it represents participation, connection, and the feeling of becoming part of something much larger than an individual concert. When thousands of army bombs illuminate a stadium, the result can be breathtaking. One light becomes hundreds, hundreds become thousands, thousands become an ocean of purple. And if the person holding one of those lights happens to be the mayor of one of the world's largest cities, the symbolism becomes even more powerful. That is exactly why the alleged Toronto moment would attract so much attention. The mayor would not simply be watching BTS, he would appear to be stepping into the world of ARMY. And then came the most surprising part, the fanchant. Imagine the crowd beginning to chant. The familiar rhythm starts quietly, then it becomes louder. Fans synchronize their voices. The atmosphere changes, and suddenly the mayor appears to join them. His posture becomes energetic. His army bomb rises. The crowd responds. What had started as an official welcome begins to resemble a giant celebration. For fans watching, the message would be impossible to miss. Toronto was not simply welcoming BTS as international entertainers. Toronto was welcoming them with the passion of a city that understood just how meaningful the group was to its residents and visitors. That emotional connection is one of the most fascinating aspects of BTS's global popularity. BTS did not become a worldwide phenomenon simply because of music. Their success has been accompanied by an enormous community built around shared experiences. ARMY members come from different countries, cultures, languages, and generations. Yet inside a concert venue, thousands of people can suddenly become one audience. They know the songs. They know the choreography. They know the fan chants. They recognize the symbols, and they understand the emotional significance behind the purple color. That is why a purple suit worn by a public official could instantly become a visual statement. It would communicate familiarity with the culture surrounding BTS. It would also send a message to fans. You are welcome here. Toronto has a long history of embracing international music, entertainment, and multicultural celebrations. The city's identity is strongly connected to its diversity. For a global group such as BTS, that kind of environment provides a natural setting for a huge celebration. But the supposed mayoral moment adds another layer. Political leaders traditionally communicate with citizens through speeches. BTS communicates with fans through music. And in this imagined encounter, those two worlds would briefly collide. The mayor with a microphone, the fans with army bombs, the city behind them, BTS at the center of the celebration. It would be an unusual picture. And perhaps that is precisely why it would be so memorable. The purple suit would immediately become one of the biggest talking points. Purple is deeply connected with BTS and ARMY because of the phrase, "I purple you," a message that has become a symbol of affection and trust within the fandom. So when someone in a position as visible as a mayor appears wearing purple during a BTS welcome, fans would naturally interpret it as a gesture of appreciation. And when that person is also holding an army bomb, the visual becomes even more direct. There would be no need for a complicated explanation. The message would be visible: purple, army bomb, BTS Toronto. The reaction online would almost certainly be explosive if such footage were genuine. Fans would freeze the video, screenshots would spread, short clips would appear across social media. People would zoom in on the mayor's expression. Others would focus on the army bomb. Some would debate whether the fanchant was authentic. Others would simply celebrate the unexpected crossover between city leadership and K-pop fandom. Within minutes, the phrase "Toronto Mayor Army" could become one of the most searched combinations surrounding the event. The humor would also be impossible to ignore. Imagine fans joking that the mayor had officially passed the army entrance exam. Others might say that Toronto had found its most powerful army member. Some would probably ask whether the mayor had practiced the fanchant beforehand, and others would simply post laughing and crying emojis. But beneath all the jokes would be something more meaningful. The scene would demonstrate how far BTS's influence has traveled. There was a time when Korean pop music was often treated as a niche genre outside Asia. Today, BTS can become the subject of conversations involving music, fashion, entertainment, global culture, tourism, and even citywide celebrations. That evolution is remarkable, and Toronto would be a perfect setting for such a story because of the city's international character. The moment the alleged mayor raised the army bomb, fans would likely react as though someone had flipped a switch. The crowd would become louder, phones would rise into the air, cameras would begin recording. Purple lights would spread through the gathering, the fanchant would grow stronger, and the mayor would suddenly become part of the spectacle. This would be especially amusing because public officials are generally expected to maintain a certain level of formality. A mayor wearing a bright purple suit while participating in a BTS fanchant would be the complete opposite. It would be playful, it would be unexpected, and most importantly, it would be human. That human element is perhaps what makes moments like this so attractive to fans. Celebrities and politicians can sometimes feel distant. But when a public figure participates in something ordinary fans love, that distance disappears for a moment. Suddenly, the mayor is not simply the mayor. He is another person holding a light stick and enjoying music. For ARMY, that could make the moment feel incredibly personal. The alleged military-style fanchant would make things even more dramatic. BTS performances are famous for their coordinated audience participation. Fans don't simply watch, they respond. They sing, they chant, they synchronize. They create an atmosphere that can make a stadium feel almost like another performer. The audience becomes part of the show. That is why fanchants have become such an important part of K-pop concert culture. And if the mayor genuinely joined one, even briefly, it would represent an extraordinary bridge between official Toronto culture and fan culture. The phrase "military style" also captures the intensity of the imagined moment. The chant would not be quiet. It would not be casual. It would be loud, synchronized, and energetic. Every word would arrive with rhythm. Every movement would feel coordinated. And when thousands of fans respond together, the sound can become overwhelming. Now imagine that sound filling a Toronto gathering. The mayor raises the army bomb, the crowd answers, the purple lights glow. The chant continues. BTS stands at the center of the celebration. For a few moments, the entire event feels less like an official ceremony and more like a massive fan gathering. That contrast is what makes the story so entertaining. It is also why the alleged image could become a perfect social media moment. People love unexpected combinations. A famous artist meeting another celebrity, a politician doing something completely outside the normal expectations of the office, a serious public ceremony suddenly becoming joyful. Those moments travel quickly because they are easy to understand visually. You don't need a long explanation. You see a mayor. You see purple. You see an army bomb. You see BTS fans. And immediately, you understand why everyone is excited. For BTS, moments like this also demonstrate the extraordinary level of cultural recognition the group has achieved. The group has spent years building a global audience. Their music has crossed language barriers. Their performances have reached cities around the world. Their fans have organized massive projects. Their concerts have become international events. And the emotional connection between BTS and ARMY continues to be one of the most distinctive aspects of their global presence. That relationship is based on more than popularity. It is based on participation. Fans learn lyrics. Fans prepare chants. Fans bring banners. Fans create videos. Fans organize celebrations. Fans travel enormous distances. And sometimes, entire cities become part of the experience. That is why a mayor joining the celebration would feel significant. It would suggest that the excitement surrounding BTS had become impossible to separate from the wider atmosphere of the city. Toronto would not merely be hosting an event. It would be participating in one. Imagine the streets around the venue, fans arriving from different parts of Canada, visitors traveling from other countries, purple merchandise everywhere, people discussing their favorite BTS songs, fans comparing concert experiences, phones recording everything. And then news spreads through the crowd, the mayor is here. At first, people might not believe it, then someone spots the purple suit, another person sees the army bomb, and suddenly everyone wants to know what is happening. The mayor walks forward, the crowd cheers, a chant begins, and instead of simply waving, he joins. That would be the moment everything changes. Fans would scream. The cameras would immediately focus on him. The atmosphere would become electric. Someone would undoubtedly upload the clip. Within a short time, the video could potentially reach viewers far beyond Toronto. People in Seoul would see it. Fans in Los Angeles would see it. ARMY in London, Paris, Tokyo, Manila, Jakarta, Bangkok, Sydney, and countless other cities could see it. And everyone would ask the same question. Did the mayor really just do that? That question alone would fuel discussion. Of course, viral moments also create confusion. A short clip can remove important context. An edited video can make an event appear different from what actually happened. A humorous fan-made video can sometimes be mistaken for official footage. That is why viewers should always check the original source before treating viral entertainment content as confirmed news.